Just moments ago, Lleyton Hewitt arrived at the Centro de Tennis here in Florianopolis, Brazil, for the biggest match of his young but brilliant career. A match against the world's best on clay. A match that could carry Australia into the semi-finals of this year's Davis Cup competition. Hello Australia, and welcome to Seven's coverage on this final day of the quarter-final tie against Brazil. A day that promises to be quite dramatic. Another steamy, tropical day with a carnival spirit that belies the underlying tension, because going into this final day, it's Australia leading by 2-1. First, we had the shock of Pat Rafter's forfeit in the fourth set to Gustavo Kuerten. But then Hewitt redressed the balance with a 3-set victory over Fernando Meligeni. And in the doubles, with Rafter's mystery elbow ailment vanishing as quickly as it came, and Hewitt substituting for Wayne Arthurs, the Australians got up in a 3-set tie-break thriller that left the Brazilians stunned. Now, the reverse singles, and in a few more moments, Lleyton Hewitt will step into the supercharged atmosphere of this clay court cauldron against Gustavo Kuerten. And forget Ronnie Biggs, John Alexander, there's no place to run or hide for either player in Brazil today.
No, there certainly isn't. And from the moment Lleyton has been called up to play Davis Cup in 1999 against the Americans, you would have said that would have been the biggest match of his life. That was then eclipsed by his matches against the Russians in Brisbane. Then it was the French finals in Nice. And now we've got the road to Barcelona, and now here in Brazil against their #1 sporting idol. It just seems to get bigger and bigger. And again, we could easily say this is the biggest match of Lleyton's life. It certainly is the biggest match of John Fitzgerald's young captaincy.
They all seem to be big down here under this sort of pressure. It is a big day today. I'd much rather be up 2-1 than down, though. It brought a smile to all of our faces yesterday after winning the doubles. But you know, it's a funny thing. You take one giant step and you're still a long way from home. We've got to win one of these today, and big difference not having to win both. But I think Lleyton's a chance against Guga. I really do. I think he can beat him. It's going to be a grind, though, in that first match. Very much so. Guga will make him work awfully hard. And he does hit the ball a little bit harder off the ground than Lleyton does, but Lleyton has a ton of confidence at the moment. If it goes down to the last match, look, I know who I'd rather have my money on, Pat Rafter or Fernando Meligeni. It's not absolutely a level playing field as we've seen over the weekend, but we believe that Pat can win that match if it goes indeed down to the 5th tie.
Well, gee, a calm and surprisingly confident John Fitzgerald under the circumstances. But the tension was plain on the face of the Brazilian captain, Ricardo Acioli, when he was asked if he was worried about the good form of Lleyton Hewitt.
He's played well. I mean, we expected him to play well. Had good results, so it's good for the Australians.
Is he a chance to beat Guga today, do you think?
I mean, the way he's playing, he's got a chance. I mean, everybody that plays this level of tennis has a chance to beat anyone. Just the same way that Fernando can beat Pat in the last match.
How much pressure is it having to win both matches on that last day?
Well, it's just as much pressure as you have in the beginning of the tie. I mean, obviously, it's come down to the wire. We have to win the last two, and that's what we're going to try to do.
Well, the team that's down 2-1 is always going to suffer a little bit more tension, and this is certainly the case with the Brazilian team.
So, if Hewitt wins, Australia wins. If Guga wins, it all comes down to the final match between Pat Rafter and Fernando Meligeni. But Rafter believes Hewitt can do the job.
Oh, I definitely can. But you got to think that Guga's got the upper hand. This is his home court, his crowd, his surface, his balls, his conditions. This is what he loves. But Lleyton, there's not a better Davis Cup player in the world than Lleyton Hewitt, and he's going to have to work very hard to beat him.
It could all come down to you and against Meligeni. You haven't got a great record against him. How tough a match in these circumstances will it be?
Be even tougher. But, you know, that's when I've got to be even tougher than I usually am. And I'll find something extra, and I'll be out there giving him my best. And I know I'm going to have to play my best to beat him.
Now, how is the elbow going? The suggestion from the Brazilians is that the Australians have been foxing a little.
It's all within the rules, mate. The rules, mate.
Settle in, Australia. The next 5 or 6 hours here could be quite extraordinary. We've got Hewitt against Kuerten, Rafter against Meligeni. 2 to play. 1 win will clinch it for Australia. And if we win, David Fordham, we'll be ducking for cover here, I can tell you.
Thank you, Gary. We'll be quite content, Alan Stone and I, in the Sydney studios, just to celebrate in a very quiet way. But, Alan, when we look at the result of yesterday, we're right back in this tie now. After Patrick forfeited on day 1, our hearts are in our throats, but it's just been an intriguing tie, hasn't it?
Well, it's what Davis Cup tennis is all about, and I just can't wait for the start of this singles match between Hewitt and Kuerten. And it's worked out how John Fitzgerald has planned. He said that if we could both our players could beat the number 2 player and win the doubles, we'd win the tie. Well, he's right on track. We're ahead 2-1. It would be just an absolute bonus if Hewitt could finish it off here, but if not, then the plan's still in place. Rafter to play the number 2 guy, Meligani, in the 5th match.
Well, there's a lot at stake if Leighton Hewitt can succeed in the opening reverse singles match today at Florianopolis, because it will give us a place in the semi-final against Sweden, who have already stamped their authority in their quarter-final over Russia, a whitewash there. Germany also at the hands of the Netherlands 3 rubbers to love, and the France-Switzerland game will come down to the reverse singles matches being played today. The conditions in Florianopolis, overcast, humid, expected top of 30 degrees today there on the clay court. And you can follow all the action on I7 website if you want to be brought up to date with all the Davis Cup quarterfinals and results. There's the website address, i7sport.com.au. There's still plenty of sport coming up in the months ahead here on 7 Sport, but don't leave your chairs tonight. This is going to be a cracker from Florianopolis.
Score is 1-love in Kuerten's favour, as David Ford had mentioned before. They've played in the semi-finals in Indianapolis last year, and that was on hard courts, naturally, and Gustavo Kuerten was the winner on that occasion in straight sets, 7-5, 6-2. So they haven't really had much of an opportunity to build a record against one another with only one match played. Today will tell the tale. Can Leighton Hewitt even the score and clinch victory in this tie, this quarter-final for Australia against Brazil? Victory, of course, would put Australia into the Davis Cup semi-finals against Sweden. Gustavo Kuerten to serve.
Similar to the opening point against Meligani on Friday, a tough baseline encounter. This time Kuerten makes the error. We said before the match that there was going to be nowhere to hide. There's not going to be very many easy points. Gustavo Kuerten over the last 3 or 4 years has established himself as the top clay court player in the world, with 2 French Open championships. He is the current holder. And while this is slightly different to the French play, the same ball has been used, the Roland Garros ball.
Go to 15.
Beautiful play by Leighton, going with the sliced backhand, very low and short, which contains the Kuerten attack. So Kuerten goes for the drop shot. Leighton was behind the baseline. Extraordinary speed, beautiful racket control to produce the winning angle. And another little wake-up call early in the day for Gustavo Kuerten. A reminder that he is against a fighter. it's a different Gustavo Kuerten to the one we saw in Brisbane when asked to play early in the morning. He was a little slow out of the blocks, but not today. Arrived just after 7:30 this morning to practice.
One love, Brazil. No break after the opening game. The players changing ends, although both stopping for a quick word with their captains as they do so. Gustavo Kuerten has been playing Davis Cup for Brazil for 5 years, and he has a win-loss record of 24-9 in those 5 years of Davis Cup. Of the 17 Davis Cup singles rubbers that he's played on clay, he's won 12 of them. His career total win-loss record is 176-53. So he's got a head start on Lleyton Hewitt, but Hewitt, in less than 2 years, it is less than 2 years, you know, since he made his Davis Cup debut for Australia, has compiled a win-loss record already of 13-4. And it's very evident here on this final day, and given the importance of this first of the reverse singles, that there are plenty more educated tennis fans in the crowd who are trying to keep a lid on the over-the-top exhortations of some of their compatriots. Hits a winner, they all know whose side they're on.
One of the great characteristics about Kuerten's game is that he does have the ability to generate pace off both sides and hit with equal authority down the line or across court off forehand and backhand. Way behind the baseline, return serve. Tremendous point by Lleyton Hewitt.
Sending a signal there to Gustavo Kuerten that he's prepared to stay back and take him on and beat him at his own game.
Two interesting things. Guga was way behind the baseline return serve, and Lleyton's been developing a slice serve, so that took him out of court right from the get-go. And then Lleyton's willingness to take the three-quarter court ball and follow it to the net, hit it with authority and follow it to the net. And in lies Lleyton's ability to gain an advantage in a strictly baseline situation. He's a very close match, but he can gain a distinct advantage by taking the shorter ball and following it to the net, which Guga is less likely to do. And the threat of the attack upsetting the composure of Kuerten, and there's another unforced error. So Kuerten just looking a little unsettled. Again, maybe 4 meters, 3 to 4 meters behind the baseline. You can see when the sliding serve goes in, it then takes him even further out of court than if he'd been up closer to the baseline. So much more court to cover for Kuerten. He's standing toe-to-toe The 20-year-old from Adelaide, not giving an inch. Playing manfully, as you would expect, right from the beginning, 1-all.
Here's the set. 15 line.
Good reach by Gustavo, not as comfortable at the net as he is from the back of the court. Second serve was suspect in the doubles yesterday, particularly when serving to Hewitt. Constant improvement in Leighton's game. He habitually went across court with his two-fister up until about 18 months ago. Now he can hit down the line as aggressively. Guga, hanging in the backhand corner, paid the price.
Go to 15.
Kuerten 40-15.
Clipped the tape and then just popped up off the service line too, and caused Kuerten to mistime the ball. By Hewitt, Kuerten holds serve. Brazil lead 2-1. Impressive start for both players, Alan Stone, in what promises to be a match of outstanding quality.
Yes, very much so, Gary. Obviously, Kuerten's got the edge in power, which is something that Hewitt will have to watch. But I'm just wondering, J.A., if it gets into a long match, how humid is it there? Because we understand that Lleyton Hewitt's still got a few breathing problems, and if the longer this match goes, I guess you'd have to favour Kuerten.
Yes, that may well be true, Alan. He hasn't seemed to be impaired in his performance in training, or certainly not on the first day. And it is very much warmer today than yesterday, possibly warmer than the first day. It's very evident outside. You can see all of the fans using fans to try to keep cool, and the temperature will increase. But it is an impressive start by Lleyton Hewitt. He's out there and he's going for it. Just a little hesitation when he played the two-fister. He thought about it for a split second before he made the move in from deep in the court, from three-quarter court, and didn't make good ground to the net. He had to be covering the down-the-line ball from Kuerten. Just didn't make good position, but a good aggressive move just the same, showing his intentions, making them clear. And again, taking the ball just shy of three-quarter court, bumping it, following it to the net, punishing Kuerten for anything that's mediocre. 4 or 5 metres behind the baseline.
It is already nudging 26 degrees here. The early overcast showing signs of breaking up. We've got brilliant sunshine at the moment. Top temperature likely to edge over 30 degrees now. But yes, a very, very heavy atmosphere, subtropical atmosphere. A lot of heavy clouds ringing the horizon and quite humid.
Gesturing to the crowd, possibly didn't like the shout during the point when he's trying to concentrate. He played a good, well-structured, aggressive point then, knowing that if he doesn't attack, Leighton will. Just way behind the baseline, taking some time, letting the crowd settle. Makes his way to the net this time, much closer, closing in. Just doing enough with the volley.
That's the big factor in his favour in this match.
It's interesting that in what may be the biggest match of his life to this point, it's certainly up there, that he's got the courage to employ something that is a relatively new part of his game.
It's out. Hewitt holds. No question. It is out. There's no doubt about it. And Kuerten accepts that. It's 2 games all.
He's sweeping back and
2 all.
Very, very close. Just wide of the line. Four games of high-quality tennis and some real intensity. Each player trying to push the other one around, and either player giving away a thing.
Can generate great power, Kuerten, but at other times it just looks so effortless to him, doesn't it?
Yes, when he has time, that's when he is dangerous.
Like that. Oh, just caught the line, yes.
I think he will appear to play better today than against the style of Pat Rafter on Friday, because Rafter's serving and volleying and hassling him gave him less time to get set. Leighton will play a great deal more from the back of the court, which is more consistent with the type and style of play that Guga likes. Three sweeping winning backhands to go to 40 love. And as we've said before, this is one of the advantages Kuerten has. He can go down the line or across court off either wing with great authority. one he'll find difficulty with. When Leighton gets a heavy slice on the ball and keeps it low, the ball stays very low. Guga is tall at over 6'3", and he rather rashly insisted on going for the big sweeping backhand down the line, which really wasn't on with the ball that low. 40-15.
No sign of a chink in either player's armour yet, and Brazil lead 3-2.
Maybe new socks or something, I don't know. Just something wrong there with Kuerten, just adjusting the shoe, obviously. Yeah, I think it's new. It's a new shoe. No, he wouldn't have changed one. The other one's still got the clay all over it. In fact, they both have. Just some adjustment there. Umpire has called time, and time again, in fact. A real buzz in the crowd. They know how to enjoy themselves, the Brazilian fans. And you'll see in the background shots sometimes, as John Alexander mentioned, it's just a continual flutter of the fans as they try to keep themselves. You can see it just there in the background, the fans fluttering in the faces of the spectators, trying to keep themselves cool. We've got some passing cloud cover again at the moment, so conditions just a fraction easier without the direct sun. It's autumn here, the same as it is in Australia, deepening into autumn now. This is the equivalent of sort of mid-north Queensland, so it's still a tropical atmosphere. Hewitt had the first point against Kuerten's serve in the previous game. And Kuerten quickly closed the door on any opportunity, though, with that sneaky little drop shot that he played to perfection. Hewitt now has to come from behind. Serious comeback now at 1:30.
Yeah, becoming aggressive at the appropriate time.
Good call, confirmed by Jorge Diaz. Good job by the linesman. Hewitt was right, almost right in his line of vision.
15 seconds.
But he spotted it, and so did Diaz. .15:30. Overhit Kuerten, and Hewitt gets back to 30 all.
first serious test of the match as the first break point comes up against Lleyton Hewitt.
Interestingly, it's achieved with the change of pace, a drop shot. A little bit of surprise when Lleyton was expecting Kuerten to continue the attack.
Watch the decibel meter. That's a big effort by Hewitt.
Solid tennis from the back of the court, and then seizing the right moment to attack this beautiful forehand down the line from outside of the court, setting up the volley from three-quarter court, deep, safe into the backhand corner. Lleyton comes to the net. Good tennis under extreme pressure.
Applause for the umpire Jorge Diaz, appealing for the crowd not to call out, try and maintain silence during these extended rallies. Second double fault, but critically gives Kuerten another break point. Tight points so well, isn't he, Hewitt?
Yes, in the crisis he's going for it. He's keeping the pressure up. He's attacking and coming to the net. Fortune favours the brave. Copy of the previous point. The ripping forehand down the line to the backhand of Kuerten. And Hewitt's coming in. The lob going wide. A good hard look. It was very close.
Well, great effort to forestall Kuerten there on two separate occasions. A bold serve. 4 games all.
No real reaction from the crowd to Lleyton's cheer at the end of that game.
15-0, 15 love.
Nice backhand of Hewitt, drawing the error from Gustavo on the backhand. Gustavo insisting on going for a full sweeper.
Oh, he's missed. Good serve.
15-30.
But Hewitt made the reply, and unaccountably, Kuerten has pulled it wide. Serving well, Kuerten, 58% of first serves in, but Alan Stone, Hewitt's going to lift his game. It was pretty noticeable in that previous game when he was down to break points that he just couldn't get a first serve. I think his first serve percentage running about 37%. That needs a big improvement.
Yeah, it certainly does, Gary, but the great thing about Hewitt, when he's down break points and he gets out of it, no answer to that, but he often breaks the very next game. And then he puts in a heck of an effort to hang on to his serve, and then you see he lifts his game and often breaks that very next service game, and he's not far away here at 30-all. But you're right, the serve's got to... I think he's just trying to over-serve a little at the moment because Kuerten's got much the bigger, flatter serve. I think Leighton's maybe just pressing a bit too much on the serve.
Yep, let call. 4-all, 30-all.
Because Leighton dropped his racket on the ground in disappointment after missing the backhand across court.
40-30. 40-30.
Of serve. 5-4 Brazil. The big crowd here again, including the would-be heavyweight champion of Brazil, that got thrown out on his ear on the opening day here. He was back yesterday in a quieter mood, but he's looking a little boisterous again today, and getting the crowd worked up in that section of the stand. The players, both Kuerten and Hewitt, trying their best to block this out. It's impossible. Of course, you cannot escape the influence of the crowd. The intensity of the noise before, as I said, just simply penetrates the body and penetrates the brain. You can't ignore it. You can't block it out. You can't hear yourself think. Kuerten, the only one to have break points against Hewitt in the 8th game. Hewitt surviving on both occasions. No break of serve. Kuerten 5-4. And this will be Hewitt when he misses the shot, and went to bounce the racket. He didn't throw it. It's a common trait not only for Hewitt but a lot of players. Bounce the racket off its head. 4-5. Hewitt to serve. Fiddling with the tape on the end of the racket handle.
Por favor. Zero Kings. Love 15.
And Hewitt finding the net. Kuerten with a clenched fist.
0-30. Love 30.
Down love 30 at 3-4. Now at 4-5. The pressure's mounting on the young Australian.
Por favor.
Played the right shot, Hewitt. Kuerten had no choice there but to try and cover at the net and left the back court wide open.
15-30. 15-30.
Back-to-back games now. Hewitt from love 30.
30 all.
Up to that 30 all. Still struggling for first serve. Kuerten misses. A good second serve. That was evident yesterday too.
40-30.
In the doubles that Kuerten was just having a shade of difficulty, particularly on Hewitt's second serve. First ball just won't go over the net, will it?
And that's really a let-off for Leighton Hewitt from 30 all to second serves really into the middle of the court. And coming up with an error off the forehand.
Can't do that every service game, though, can you?
Point backhand. This goes to show that the pressure is taking its toll on both players, albeit in different ways. Leighton possibly it'll tense on the first serve and it's making him snap and lose his rhythm, so his percentage is down. Kuerten coming up with some unforced errors at unexpected times. 5 all.
Zero Kings. Love 15.
First double fault from Kuerten. From memory.
Igual. 15 all.
Kuerten may have been hitting an out ball, but there was a lot of court to hit into, so he did the right thing.
30 Kings, 30-15. The Kings, 40-15.
Just catching the top of the net with his forehand down the line and set up so many successful points. And a little bit of a let-off with the unforced error for Kuerten.
Brazil leads
6-5. Kuerten, no breaks of serve. Hewitt under pressure at his last 2 service games. Will be stepping out here to try and force a tie break, and well, Alan Stone, I don't know the way that the service percentages are stacking up, whether or not a tie break is going to suit Hewitt in these circumstances.
Well, I think it will, though, Gary. He'd be ahead. Well, he'd be down on points, really, wouldn't he, if this was a boxing match? Because Kuerten's the player that's had the opportunities. He's had the 2 break points, and he's had love 30, and he has looked the better player. So you'd have to say that Hewitt, if he can get to a tie-break, it'll be a real bonus, because anything can happen in a tie-break. So Kuerten definitely looking the better player at this stage in the first set, I think.
Quite a long change over here. I'm not quite sure what the reason for the hold-up was, but it gave the crowd a little time to party and do the samba and the rumba and the Mexican wave. And settle in again for another gripping stanza in this match. Hewitt at 5-6. Guga on the run with a big forehand right into the corner.
Their Kings, love 15.
Guga looking much more settled at the beginning of this game, determined to go for his shots freely.
Kinsey Glass, 15 all.
I think he's decided that he's got to win this match. It's not going to be given to him. He won't be able to wear him down or just edge him out. He's going to have to take risks to actually win points.
Extraordinary mishit smash from Hewitt. I think maybe that gave Kuerten the shock of his life, and he's missed the reply.
Well, that came right off the shoulder of the racket. Not far off being an air swing. It can happen when the ball's coming down, and Leighton's surprised. Got away with it.
Looking more and more on the cards.
The Kings, 40-15.
first serve from Hewitt. But after the short exchange, Kuerten from behind the baseline with a forehand, sharply angled, dipping cross-court.
40-30.
It's always dangerous going into somebody's forehand, but you could see Kuerten almost edging towards the backhand, so sound thinking from Leighton. He just didn't get it close enough to that sideline. Kuerten there in lots of time. Still 1 point to force the tiebreaker.
Glorious backhand from Kuerten.
Classic full swing from beyond the baseline, just inside the sideline, catching the inside edge of the line. Leighton at full stretch, couldn't get a racket on it. Backhand juice.
It's out. Yes, absolutely.
It's been a crucial shot so far in the match for Gustavo. It's paid off several times, coming up with the drop shot when Leighton's been deep in the court after a long baseline exchange, but that one.
But on a point that could have given him set point. Was that the time to play?
Well, it's always harder to play touch shots that need a soft hand when the tension's on, because you tend to grip the racket a little tighter.
That's 6 games all. Ricardo Acioli, the captain for Brazil, quickly out of the chair to cross-examine Jorge Diaz.
That's also been a make-or-break shot for Kuerten, backhand down the line. So both his drop shot and his backhand down the line failing him when he needed it most. And it will be a tiebreaker. That will settle the first set. Leighton's got a good record against Gustavo Kuerten in tiebreakers in Brazil. They played 3 yesterday in the doubles, and Leighton won all 3.
Exactly 1 hour of play to get to 6 all. And a tiebreak now to resolve the set. There's the shot again. He's paid the penalty once more. And looking very disconsolate as he walks back to the baseline.
Yes, absolutely disgusted, isn't he, Gary? And that was just not well executed at all. He fumbled it halfway between the net and the service line. Leighton was there in a canter. And Gustavo not at his best in close quarter action. It's Leighton with the early advantage.
Well, Alan Stone said anything can happen when you get to the tie-break, and although he struggled a bit on serve the last few games, Hewitt is in the tie-break and he's got the opening point. 2 serves to come.
Backhand down the line, fouls Guga. Hewitt, too low.
2-0. Australia.
Kuerten making Hewitt wait. It's out.
Yep. 3-love for Hewitt and Australia.
3-7. 3-0, Australia.
Brazil bringing in the big guns.
They need reinforcement shortly. Scavo on the board. 1-3.
3-1, Australia. Three points. 3-2. Australia.
Hewitt still up a point on Kuerten's serve. 3-2. And 2 to come. That point back. 3-all.
With an unforced error from Leighton Hewitt.
3-all.
And this match so evenly poised. 6-all, 3 points all.
The man with a horn trying to work the crowd. He certainly got them on their feet and working hard.
Obrigado.
Good solid point from Leighton Hewitt. Just on the baseline, the aggressive forehand of the backhand and the charge to the net that has paid off so well, reasserting himself.
On serve. Point traded each way. Kuerten at 3-4.
Australia's favour.
Kuerten going to look at the spot on the court where the ball bounced. There's a bit of break up there.
There's a lot of loose surface on top of this court, and it tends to clump up. And that's why the court is tended after every change of end, sometimes fully swept, to keep the bad bounces off that loose surface build up to a minimum.
3-5. for Hewitt. 2 serves to come. And he wins both these points. He's got the first set.
5-4. Australia.
That's the big if.
Kuerten 4 metres behind the baseline. The unforced error from Kuerten. Unlikely prospect. Hewitt had hit the first forehand after the serve and hesitated, taken 1 step to the net. He retreated to the baseline. His conservative nature on this point paying off.
2 set points for Lleyton Hewitt and Australia.
Facing 6-5, Australia.
It off for Brazil, but still facing set point.
But on Kuerten's serve. That's out.
That's the set.
That's a set, yes. The call confirmed by Jorge Diaz. And the crowd stunned into what passes for silence as Australia wins the first set, 7-6. The battle resumes. Australia 1 set to love. Hewitt serves. Well, they might be a little shell-shocked for the moment, the crowd. It won't take them long to work themselves up again. That's great. Terrific shot from Hewitt.
Stuns the crowd into silence. It's the seal of approval here in Brazil for an Australian winner. So Lleyton now serving first in the second set. If he can get through and win a quick game here and put the pressure straight back on Kuerten in the second game. And that serve hitting right on the line, and with the watering of the court after the first set, a little dampness on the line makes the ball skid through that much quicker.
For the 15. 30 all.
Leighton just getting aggressive down the line. You can see the ball just deviating as Leighton was swinging forward. He just had to make a little snatch to try to get the racket on the ball cleanly. Good second serve on the line.
Bit of reaction from the crowd, but Kuerten took a second look, and that was enough to convince him it was good. One game to love. Hewitt in the second set. Oh, the heavy cloud cover draws overhead again here in Florianopolis. It might take a degree or so off the temperature, but it just seems to add to the stultifying atmosphere here.
Well, they certainly dress for the weather.
They do. Quite high humidity and still pushing up to the 30-degree mark despite the cloud cover. It's a real hothouse of exotica.
Great start for Leighton in this game. This is where, after winning the first set, you often feel a little bit of exhaustion. After the adrenaline that gets pumped for the tiebreaker, a little bit of a hangover.
15 all.
And it's where, if you can press on and take the advantage, you can really establish yourself in the match and get the early break in the second set. All and a crack at the second serve now. Kuerten was a long way out of court, and the cross-court backhand would have had him really stretching. Just came up short on top of the net. Gustavo just trying to nurse the first ball in then. Hewitt, the one generating the power from the back of the court. Tremendous depth forced Kuerten to play defensively, and Hewitt gets aggressive on this forehand from beyond the baseline, generating all the power and making the winner. It's tense now. Kuerten's second serve uncertain in yesterday's doubles during crises.
What an exchange, and Hewitt wins it. Oh.
Right on the line. Under pressure. And that's his first backhand winner of the match. From beyond the doubles court, right on the line. Ball skidding that much faster. It's break point for Australia.
And he gets it too. Australia breaks. Hewitt leads by 2 games to love in the second set, and by 1 set to love. Kuerten is rocked.
Hewitt having the courage to go for his shots when the pressure's on and they're coming off. This is a manful performance. It loses something because of the lack of applause by the Brazilian crowd, but that is as good a tennis as you'll see under this pressure. The fanatics doing their part. And Hewitt certainly doing his. Set up and 2 love for the break.
An ace. Hewitt's first.
15-1. Misses.
And another one. Crowd here at the moment dying the death of 1,000 cuts with each winning stroke from Lleyton Hewitt's racket.
Well, Lleyton Hewitt really on a run now, having won the tiebreaker in the opening set, struggling a little on serve, and then breaking majestically.
Caught the tape, it's good.
Beautiful poise on the backhand, the preparation early, balance perfect, and then the sweeping fluent drive. Striking the ball right on the line.
Iguais. 31.
All the luck for Hewitt.
And Guga really unhappy.
A display of frustration and temper from Kuerten.
A very rare display. And this shows how deep he's been cut to this point. That racket could have just smashed then. You wouldn't be able to do that if you had a tender wrist or a sore elbow.
It's Hewitt's game, and Australia a set and 3 love. The look on the face of Riccardo Acciaioli as he tries to lift Kuerten's spirits.
Time.
As I said, even before the start of play today, the tension was etched into the face of the Brazilian captain, and it's only more so now.
down a set and 4-1. His #1 player, the world's #1 player on clay, the #2 ranked player at the moment in the world. And here he is at this moment, and for the last 5 or 6 games on the receiving end from 20-year-old Lleyton Hewitt. Kuerten, 1-4, second set.
Trying to stay positive, going for his shots, just making the odd error, which is a fine trade-off when you've made as many winners and forfeits.
love. Take the Kings. 44.
Slice backhand, drawing the error from Gustavo. The higher the ball bounces, the greater the clearance he'll have over the net. That slice stays very low.
Diaz tentatively leaves the chair to come and check that mark.
Lleyton very confident that it's going to be called wide. And you can see why. Just wide. Beautiful early preparation. His backswing complete before the ball bounces.
30 all.
This really could be a very big game for Lleyton Hewitt now.
Second serve from Kuerten dealt with contempt there by Hewitt.
A double break here will really seal up the second set and a 2-set-to-love lead.
Pressure telling on Kuerten's serve.
Vantagem Brasil.
Hewitt on the attack, playing the ball early on top of the bounce from closer to the baseline. Kuerten getting further back in the court. Hewitt leaning on this one. He was going to follow it in. That brings the error.
Every time Kuerten reaches for the pressure release valve, Hewitt just shuts it down again. And Hewitt gets the point here for perhaps a double break.
Vantagem Austrália.
Gustavo Kuerten must really have the sinking feeling now. Hewitt going from strength to strength, playing with more and more assurance. Simply not faltering. Break point for 5-1. Australia has won the first set. A conservative first serve from Gustavo, just played it in. Maybe it surprised Leighton a little bit.
Half a dozen aces from Kuerten, but he needs a few more in these circumstances. Hangs on. Foils the possibility for Hewitt. But Australia's still up a break at 4-2.
Austrália vence 4-2. Australia leads 4-2.
And just the very fact that Hewitt had the break point there keeps the needle into Gustavo Kuerten.
Game now for Leighton, having missed the opportunity to have a 5-1 lead. He's now serving for a 5-2 lead. 4-2.
Por favor. (15-0). 15-1.
It's a standard play for Leighton now. Serve, drawing the short return, and Hewitt dealing with it very severely, following that shot to the net.
Second serve.
That's a shot that Kuerten would normally play so regularly against that quality of second serve, but today they've been few and far between.
30-15.
So many errors coming off the return of serve of the second ball. Hesitation there from Leighton after the forehand from three-quarter court. He hesitated, thought of going in after this one, and then retreated back and pays the price.
30 30-all.
Leighton gives himself a cheer. He pulls himself back together. Comes up with the winning forehand.
In the past 2 days, that would have drawn a reaction from the Brazilian crowd, but not today.
I think they're starting to respect Leighton's sheer tennis ability and fight.
I know that Kuerten's got a fight on his hand. An ace from Hewitt for the game, and he leads by 5 games to 2 in the second set. The city of Florianopolis and the island of Santa Catarina in all of their glory, from the top of the hill of the cross, where the early Portuguese settlers and missionaries erected a huge cross at the top of that hill, 500, 600 feet behind the city of Florianopolis. It gives you a superb view across the straits to the mainland. But the superb view and the other delights of Florianopolis are the last thing on Gustavo Kuerten's mind at the moment. It is set down and 2-5 down in the second. He's under the gun.
Says 15 love. Intercept. 30 love. Wait, please. First serve.
Jorge Diaz said very clearly before Kuerten served, asked him to wait. Still a lot of crowd movement. The ball boy was still moving on the court.
Wait.
And again.
Has stirred. They've been stunned for so long during this match.
Kuerten very definitely trying to speed up the play here now. Really rushing those points.
And I think he'll be very happy with the crowd coming to life now, just to make it a little bit more awkward for Leighton to concentrate when he's serving for a 2-set-to-love lead, to increase his chances of winning this match dramatically.
So after a half-dozen games of stunned silence, the crowd come alive again for Guga.
Sliding first serve wide to Guga's forehand.
Great first serve. You might have heard John Fitzgerald say from the chair at courtside. Giving every encouragement to Hewitt. He's got his nose in front. He's got to keep it there.
Intercept. 31.
Good start. Error from Kuerten. And 2 points away. Kuerten slips to go down 40 love. 3 set points for a 2-set to love lead.
Kuerten 40-15. Por favor.
After 1 hour, 56 minutes, the balance tips ever more strongly in Australia's favour, with Lleyton Hewitt leading by 2 sets to love.
6-3. 6-3.
Gustavo Kuerten, super cool, super relaxed. I wonder what this is doing to his demeanour, Alan Stone. His mind must be absolutely reeling down there. 2 sets to love down against Lleyton Hewitt.
Well, look, he'd be really struggling for answers because whatever he does, Lleyton's got the answer to it. What I'm terribly impressed with today is Lleyton Hewitt's forehand. I don't think I've ever seen him hit it better. He's matched power for power, and then when he's had the inkling of a short ball, he's been able to put it away. And it's just an outstanding performance from Hewitt. He's now won 8 consecutive sets in this Davis Cup tie. Just a phenomenal performance.
Por favor.
Kuerten serves first, 3rd set, 2 sets to love Australia.
Love 15.
More unforced errors from Kuerten. Really uncharacteristic of his backhand, just halfway up the net. He is shaken.
Wait, please. 30-15.
They put a spring back into Guga's step.
40-15.
Kuerten, 3rd set. The deafening chant for Brazil, and Kuerten go up again. The atmosphere is tense, it's electric, because they know that he's going to have to stage one almighty fight back. An impassive look on the face of John Fitzgerald, passive but content at the situation he and Lleyton Hewitt find themselves in. You could barely hope to dream that Australia would be up 2 sets to love against Kuerten on clay in a match of this magnitude.
It's the forehand, Alan Stone. He just keeps wanging it in there and really punishing Kuerten.
31.
Well, this is the shot, isn't it? I mean, he's very confident on it now. 18 months ago, he used to have a bit of trouble putting this one away, but boy, has it developed and turning into a real weapon for him now.
Impressive opening game for Hewitt in this set.
Another unforced error off a second serve. Just a moderate second serve from Hewitt. Gustavo pushing a little bit too much, making the error. 3-point.
Reason for most of these delays when players are about to serve and the umpire has to call for them to wait is because the ball boys are just a bit slow off the mark. They're not quite up to the standard we're used to seeing in big tournaments in Australia and elsewhere in the world, in fact. The officials have got all the basics, no doubt about that, but I don't know that the young ball boys would have been drilled for matches under these circumstances too often.
Kuerten forcing his way to the net. This backhand, not a bad stab down the line, just about a third of a metre wide. Hewitt forcing Kuerten to play one more shot.
To Kuerten.
Well, what a great point by both players. Great court coverage by the lanky Brazilian. After he'd already covered a lot of ground earlier in the point. Hewitt had defended. He then took charge of the point with the backhand down the line, came to the net. It was a fine angled volley. Took its toll of both players.
Hewitt just slipping a little as he went to play the return.
40-15.
Kuerten just moving slightly to his left after the serve, caught wrong-footed with the off backhand.
trying for the little touch shot again.
Iguais. Juice.
Could be a very crucial error for Gustavo Kuerten, hitting Leighton off. Hewitt gets back to Juice. He leads 2 sets to love. He's looking for the early break. Pressure on Kuerten. That's a bit of a punt. Only 45% of his first serves in.
Another one for the game for Kuerten. 2 games to 1 in the 3rd set, but Australia by 2 sets to love. Gustavo Kuerten and Ricardo Acioli are having a very heated conversation here with Jorge Diaz about what I'm not sure. As I said, it's so divorced from the court surface where we are, and it's impossible to know what's got under Gustavo's skin here. I mean, he should be pretty happy with himself the way things have opened up in this 3rd set. He's on serve at 2-1, although there was a moment there in that previous set Hewitt had some opportunities, but the crowd have come to life again and gotten behind their national hero. Now Jorge Diaz is calling John Fitzgerald. Acioli's going to the chair as well. No, it looks like Kuerten's got some complaint. I don't know whether it's about Hewitt hasn't done anything. He's been very self-contained, Leighton Hewitt, today. Let's play.
Very clean point for Hewitt, as he's done so many times in this match. Forehand forcing the weak reply and knocking it off at the net, not consuming too much energy. Hardly within the camera shot as that ball went by Kuerten. 16 forehand winners for Hewitt. Another ace for Hewitt. His 4th of the match. 8 for Kuerten. Be a really easy game for Hewitt. That's just what he needs. He's run every inch of the way to this point of the match. Two games all, a love game for Hewitt. Staying with Kuerten on serve early here in the 3rd set. And maintaining the pressure. Up 2 sets to love.
We go. Kinsey, 15-1. Peter 31.
Late Hewitt signals that he was unready, not ready for the serve, so 2 will be played. Costello is trying to move it along, rush the younger opponent.
Been very noticeable, hasn't it, the last 3 service games since the start of this set.
A deal between the players. I'll give you an easy game on serve if you give me an easy game on serve. We both need a break, as it has been intense.
It's Kuerten and Brazil by 3 games to 2 in the third.
Brazil.
It's a long way from over, and after a few games of almost stunned silence,
Time.
after Kuerten had lost the first set tie-break, and then the second set, the crowd realised they've got to get behind him now. It's a must-win set for him, or it's all gone, not just this match, but the tie. And they are almost to a man, except for about 100 Australians in the crowd, giving voice to Kuerten and Brazil to get this set, keep the match alive, keep the tie alive. Fact remains, though, it's 2 sets to love for Lleyton Hewitt in Australia. Break point down in his previous service game, serving now at 3-4.
And Hewitt continues to trade ground strokes from the back of the court, matching the Brazilians' power.
I don't know about the forehand. The backhand's not working too badly either.
Peter 31.
Kuerten showing at times better rhythm from the back of the court, but he can't maintain that consistency. And there again, the unforced error off the Hewitt second serve. Such a common feature of today's match and a very costly feature for Kuerten.
A lot of the outbursts you hear from the crowd, byplay that's got nothing to do with what's happening on the court. That lasted a lot in reaction to an attempt by the Aussie fanatics to get a little cheer going for Hewitt.
Kuerten, 15 love.
The 10th ace
30-30.
for the Brazilian.
30 love. For point.
Double fault.
Well, 2 sets to love down before all. In the 3rd set, there's no room for error for Gustavo Kuerten. Now Hewitt just 2 points from the break at 30 all.
Big serve, Kuerten down the middle.
The last time Kuerten struggled on serve 3rd game of the 3rd set and finished the game with 2 aces from deuce.
Game with an ace and a lead of 5-4 in the 3rd set. For Kuerten in the 3rd set. Alan Stone, how's your shoulder and your elbow? You wouldn't have played this many shots in a few years, would you? I would bet you're playing every shot as Hewitt hits the ball.
Yes, Fordo and I are moving around in our chairs a bit here, but this set's very much reminding me of the 1st set, where Kuerten was looking to be the better player. He's really serving well now, and Leighton's just hung on and got to the tie-break. So it's very reminiscent of that, but just a little worried here that Kuerten's starting to really get his game into gear now.
Frustrated at the unforced error. Really wasn't a difficult backhand at all, almost into the bottom of the net. He needs to be making an impression on Leighton at this stage.
Hewitt just continues to lift.
He's standing toe-to-toe with Kuerten, who's one of the most ferocious ground strokers from the back of the court, and Hewitt's coming out on top time and again. Blistering two-fister down the line, right in the corner.
40 love.
Citizens.
A slice backhand from Hewitt produces another error from Kuerten. All staying low, and Kuerten insisting on still trying to make the winner. Change of rackets. It's 5-all in the third set. Australia leads 2 sets to love.
Por favor. Inside. 15 love. Touch your left. Zero. 40 love.
More and more, this set takes on a mirror image of the first. 6 games to 5. Kuerten ahead. All sorts of things happening in the stands here. Capacity crowd, over the capacity. I've got no doubt it's about 12,000 people. All sorts of local superstars, football players, other sports personalities, and entertainment personalities in the crowd that we're not aware of, but drawing recognition from the fans here in the breaks between games. Just adding to the carnival atmosphere. So 5-6 Hewitt, third set, 2 sets to love in Australia's favour. Needing this game to force another tie break. There's been just 1 break of serve in the entire match to date.
Opposing start for Hewitt. First serve straight down the centre. Bit of surprise element to that because he's gone wide so often on the first court.
Music wise. 15 all. 15.
Solid in the overhead department as he was in the doubles yesterday when it really got a workout.
Oh, did you see that ball?
Right on the line.
It was going out, though, for all the world, and it's just curved through the air and landed right on the line. Incredible.
Well struck ball, still with lots of confidence and free hitting deep into this third set. 2 points to force the tiebreaker.
That sets it up. 6 games all. Well, it could all be decided here. Two sets to love for Hewitt. 6 games all. Australia leading by 2 rubbers to 1.
Obrigado. Por favor. Vamos ver. 1-0, Brasil. This tiebreak, or we start all over if Kuerten gets back into the match. But what a force Hewitt has been in this tie. Straight sets over Melagini on the first day. Straight sets with Rafter in the doubles yesterday. 2 sets to love here, and in a 3rd set tiebreak. Of the crowd calling out, believing that the second serve from Hewitt was a double, but that one was definitely out, the ball from Kuerten. Points going with serve, early stages. In a desperate tiebreak, desperate for Kuerten. First point against the server goes to Australia. 3-1 Australia.
Kuerten really downhearted at this point. Finds a big serve.
Três, 2. 3-2. Australia.
And a big serve from Hewitt, right on the line. The ball rises nastily, and Hewitt goes to 4-2. Kuerten changing on the far side of the court, pondering his predicament. So much hope was placed on his shoulders to get Brazil past Australia. His hometown. Most revered sportsman in Brazil. Hewitt leading 4-2, one more point on serve. And it's another enormous serve. An ace straight down the centre on the line.
5-2 Hewitt. It's not as big as it looks. It's just a 1 point against Kuerten's serve. But, boy, that point is looming very, very large at the moment. 2-5.
Now a chance on Kuerten's second serve to get one more break point up.
Match points coming up for Australia and Hewitt.
6-2. Australia.
Well, this forehand error. 4 match points for Australia.
Thank you.
Gustavo continues to go for his shots. The backhand down the line, catching Hewitt off guard.
6-3. Australia.
2 match points on the Hewitt serve.
This is going to take an almighty effort from Kuerten to forestall a Hewitt and Australian victory. You would think at 6-3 in the tie-break and 2 serves to come from Lleyton Hewitt. Goodness me, Hewitt
match, Australia.
Has done it. Australia. You've got to take a bow.
6-3, 7-6.
Lleyton Hewitt and John Fitzgerald embrace in a very emotional scene here. The crowd applauding a stunning, what they see as a stunning upset victory for Australia over the home team, for Lleyton Hewitt over Gustavo Kuerten. The Aussie fanatics are the only ones in the stand. Hewitt's in tears, surrounded by his teammates, by the coach Wally Masur, by John Fitzgerald, Pat Rafter, Wayne Arthurs, Scott Draper, Richard Fromberg, Fenton Cool from Tennis Australia.
Lleyton thanking the fanatics, and the chant goes up for Guga. He's still their man. Pat Raft was the first player on court, lifted him up, nearly threw him over his shoulder.
The big hometown crowd almost choked into silence by defeat. And this is just a another remarkable victory. Gustavo Kuerten, head in his hands, in the towel, because this clinches the tie for Australia. Brazil, for the first time in 5 years, beaten on home soil in Davis Cup. And this young man at just 20 years of age, slight in build by most standards, where players commonly are the 6'3" and the 6'5" variety. And Kuerten is just stunned beyond belief.
Cannot believe it. He came here with high hopes. He knew it was going to be a tough match. He came here as formerly the world's #1, the greatest player on clay in the world at the moment, against a 20-year-old opponent who hasn't really proven himself on clay to this point in his career. But Lleyton Hewitt played the most flawless tennis.
Proven now, I'd say.
He was adventuresome, he attacked, and he was relentless.
John Fitzgerald goes up from the chair, remarkably restrained, actually. And Hewitt, just the release of tension from him as well. He mightn't have been showing it, but he must have been feeling it. Well, we've said at the outset of our telecast today that every match that he's played in Davis Cup for Australia has been the biggest match of his life. I don't know if there could possibly be a bigger one than this.
This was a great achievement. There is no doubt in the mind of many of the world's top players, the hardest assignment would be to play Gustavo Kuerten on clay in Brazil. Hewitt has met that challenge and he has won, and won well.
Gustavo Kuerten absolutely devastated as Hewitt leaves the court in victory with the Australian entourage. The crowd, they've not moved, they've stayed to a man, and they're still chanting for Gustavo Kuerten because he is still the national hero. But I don't think one of the local fans came here today expecting this result. And they're expressing with their applause their enduring love for Gustavo Kuerten, a great and popular sportsman, a great and popular figure in Brazil. Leaves the court a dejected and disappointed man with his captain, Ricardo Acioli, following in the wake of the victorious Australian group. And the fanatics wave the flag, the boxing kangaroo, and Hewitt has delivered a knockout blow to Brazil in this quarter-final tie. Australia now 3 rubbers to 1. Brazil cannot win the tie. Australia safely through to the semi-finals of the 2001 Davis Cup competition. Will play Sweden, will play them in Australia, very likely in Sydney, where plans are in place to put a grass court in the centre at Homebush at Olympic Park. That court currently being grown and tested at a location in Victoria. And should the tests prove to be successful, that's the plan. A grass court grown in sections and laid on the centre court at the Homebush Stadium in Sydney for the semi-final tie against Sweden. We'll be hearing a lot more about that development over the coming months. And here, the crowd now wending their way out of this huge temporary stand in Florianopolis. None of them ever believing when they came here on the opening day. None of them believing it, even when they came in here this morning with Australia leading by 2 rubbers to love, that Brazil could possibly lose the tie. Gustavo Kuerten, the world's greatest clay court player, the man who finished #1 in the world at the end of the year 2000, the man who is still #2 in the world, the man who had played Lleyton Hewitt only once before and beaten him. 24 years of age, Kuerten with 12 successful tournament victories under his belt against Lleyton Hewitt, even with his relatively young career having won 7. But nobody here, apart from a handful of Australians, about 100 in total, believed, had faith that Hewitt could do the job. John Fitzgerald certainly had faith. The Brazilians thought their man was a lay-down misère to win this match, and they are leaving here absolutely disheartened, stunned. Brazil knocked out of the Davis Cup in the quarterfinals on their home soil. Australia will go through to the semi-final, clinching this with an unbeatable lead of 3 rubbers to love. Lleyton Hewitt defeating Gustavo Kuerten unbelievably in straight sets, 7-6, 6-3, 7-6.